Ooh, welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me, it's your man, it's Ole Walls, and I'm back with you. Episode 170 coming your way. Got a fun show coming today. Got some guests on. Bucky Aeppli, Jeff Slanovec, and Matt Wiater here to talk about the Masters. Rory McIlroy's win at the Masters. We dive into that, a couple other topics. Fun discussion we had. Fun discussion. Then, I'll get through and do my passing thoughts and everything else there at the end. Before we get started, I really appreciate all the support. So thank you guys so much. If you could you please like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, do all that fun stuff. Really would appreciate that. That goes a long way for us. So thank you. Don't forget to check out the Full Range podcast. You can find Full Range podcast on Spotify or on the Ole Walls House YouTube app or channel, YouTube channel. You can find it on the YouTube app though too. We've got our NFL draft live show coming up. That's in just over a week, next Thursday. So about 9 days after you'll be listening to this podcast. So, but without any further ado, let's just dive into this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the band back together tonight, boys. We got Mr. Jeff Slanovec. Jeff, how are you doing?
Great Monday.
We have the one, the only Matt Wiater.
Fellas, how we doing? Great to be here.
And then the only man on earth who I think is happier than Rory McIlroy today, Mr. Eric Aeppli. Eric, we're going to give you the floor. I passionately said on the pod last week that Rory would not win. You and I had, I believe at one point you texted me, we are no longer friends this week. We can resume being friends on Monday. But I'm going to let you have the floor to take your victory lap on me here.
Listen, as much as I appreciate that, and I was right, so that's always important. You were wrong, I was right, so let's get that squared away. However, I will say that the way in which he won, I don't think I can completely rub it in your face because he still choked, even though he won. So, I'll take the victory. It's nice, but it's definitely not the way that we wanted it to end.
I'm just going to say this, and then I'm going to open it up to Slano and Wiater. He hit some of the best shots I've ever seen a guy trying to win a major hit. 15, 17. He also hit unequivocally maybe the worst shot I've ever seen in my life of a dude trying to close out a major, and some other pretty poor ones, and didn't make any putts. So Jeff, Matt, your turn here. Just quick thoughts, and we can dive in deeper from anything you guys say here.
My one thought is I went from rooting for him to not rooting for him multiple times. Depending on what shot he just hit, I went from like, man, I could really see this guy winning this to like, you do not deserve the fucking win. And especially like the wedge. I know we're going to get everything, but the wedge on the par 5, like this dude does not deserve to win this shit.
I was not as steadfast in believing Rory would win as early in the week as Eric was. I did join him about 36 hours later, and we rode quite a roller coaster for a couple of days. I don't think enough is really being talked about the fact that he was probably the number one story for most of Thursday besides Justin Rose until he decided to gag for the first of about 7 times. But what a cool moment at the end. I'm sure we'll get to it as well, but I've never seen an athlete walk off of a competition, floor, course, field, looking the way that he did at the end, which was pretty cool. And I think speaks to just how much this tournament meant to him.
My takeaway from seeing him walk off and his reaction was that he was just having a 1,000% emotional dump, and that his fucking nerves must have been through the roof all day long. Because that looked like a dude who's just every bit of adrenaline, nervousness was just dumping out of him. I would love to know what he felt like the second he got back to his house where he was staying that week. Because I have to imagine he just sat in a chair and melted into it. Because there had to be nothing left in that dude.
Yeah, I think that's something to point out with him, though, is how human he is. So, anybody could relate to it, right? Like the pressure, but pro athletes train to take their mind somewhere else. And he talked all week, and he's talked for a long time about like all the mental work he's done. But despite it, he really still like overcame it by this much because of how much talent he has. But did he really overcome it? I mean, I don't know. With the putts he hit on 15 and 18, I'd have to say probably not.
Yeah, I have thoughts on that we'll get into later. But Jeff, you brought up a good point. Like Thursday, through 14 holes, I'm like, oh shit, I ran my mouth and he's going to run away with this thing. Like, I know Justin Rose was up there, but I was like, he's not going to be there at the end. And props to Justin Rose, by the way, for sticking around and making fucking 10 birdies on Sunday. And then I was like, oh, no, Rory's back. 15, chips it in the water. 17, blows it over the green, can't get it back up and down. I was like, oh, I'm good. And then I was fucking around with you guys. I was like, oh, no, he's winning. I can tell on some point on Friday. But like on Saturday at some point, I was like, oh, this is legit over. Like until Bryson made the birdie putt Saturday night on 18, I was like, Rory's going to steamroll this again. And that's how Rory wins majors, is he just gets out ahead of people and turns a 4-shot lead into 6 and then just coasts in. I'm like, oh, this is just all over again. And like sometime Saturday, I was like, oh, I'm wrong. I've got to eat it. And then we get to Sunday and it's like, oh my God, it's just the first hole. And then walking off 2, Bryson's got the lead. I'm like, this is incredible. And the way the dude would bounce back throughout the day was also just wild. I mean, what point throughout the tournament did any of you guys like feel like he was going to win? And then, obviously Sunday, I don't think anyone had a fucking clue after the first hole if we were confident or not until maybe like 8. But like, is there a point throughout the week that any of you guys were like, okay, yep, we got our guy. He's going to do this?
I thought it was until, like you said, until Bryson rolled that in on 18. If Bryson doesn't make that on Saturday, that was where I was at. I'm like, this is Rory's to lose completely if Bryson doesn't get at least where he's feeling his footsteps right there. But that quickly turned immediately on Sunday morning. Or afternoon, rather.
I never thought, like, I was never accepting that he was going to win because I've seen this story too many times until he got to the 11 tee. I started to think if he can get through 11 and 12 without like a major mishap, he's probably going to be good. And then when he got to 13 tee, when he hit 3-wood and he hit the second shot, I was like, oh, this thing's over. Like, because he was in such perfect position in the fairway on 13. He was obviously going to hit the ball in the middle of the green from 82 yards. And then from there, he could just coast with that lead. Because nobody was going to catch him. But we saw what happened after that. But yeah, I did. I allowed it for like that long on 13. And then you ripped my heart out like he always has in the past.
5-shot lead standing on the 11 tee box.
Right.
I think I sent a text to the group. I think he was up 4 making the turn, which was, I think, what he was up in 2011. I think I texted you guys, Rory with a 4-shot lead on the back 9 at Sunday at Augusta. Nothing can go wrong here.
But here's the thing, though. Like, he's trained his, it's not like it's one of us out there, even though he played like one of us. Like, he has trained his whole life for this. All he has to do is do the one thing he's always been good at. And he still, could barely do it because the nerves were that bad.
Well, I was just quick looking something up because I was trying to figure out exactly when it was that I thought was going to be the moment. And for me, I thought when he made the eagle on 15 on Saturday and he took the lead, but not only that he took the lead, it was that Connors was in second and was going to beat Bryson to the clubhouse that I thought was critical for Rory. Connors did not birdie 13. He did not birdie 15 on Saturday. He had a great look on 17 that if he gets to 9 under, would have forced Bryson to birdie 2 of his last 3, which he ended up doing. But to get into that final group, I thought if Rory had a lead and was in the final group with Connors, it was over. I thought he played so well Saturday in the same group as Corey. For whatever reason, they both just seemed to kind of, I don't want to say play off each other because I don't think that's the right word, but he was playing with somebody who he could kind of intimidate. And Connors isn't going to let Rory intimidate him because he is who he is, right? Like he's a ball striker who's always going to hit first or second in a threesome. But I think that when Bryson then birdied 2 of his last 3, and the last one on 18 is the one that got him to only 2 back, but he was going to be in the final group as long as he 2-putted. That's when I was like, we're kind of back again. And then he comes out and just completely gags 1. And I thought the caddy was his fault on 1, letting him hit it past that pin with his 3rd shot is just, you can't do it. But once Bryson made that putt, it really never got comfortable again. Honestly, I think I got comfortable after 12. And then he laid up on 13, and I get why he did it, but I don't totally love the decision because it's just not Rory McIlroy, right? Like, it's just not him to hit that shot that lays him up to 88 yards or 86 yards or whatever it is. Like,
what did he have in?
86, I think.
But he had
on the second shot
before that, and that doesn't seem like he hit the fairway and hit the shot he wanted. It almost seemed like he was playing for that the whole time, and I think that's a mistake. If that's who you are, if you're the hit the 4-iron over the creek guy, you got to be the 4-iron over the creek guy with 6 holes left and one of the most volatile back nines in major championship history.
He had 239 to the pin, which means he probably had like 215 to cover that front left edge, where you'd be looking, and then you just, if it rolls up past it to the left, it's fine. You chip it down and see if you can make a putt, and there you go.
The question, though, is why he only hit it 305 off that tee or something like that. It seemed like he
hit 3 wood.
Oh, that'll do.
So, yeah, and to your point, why not just hit driver? Because if you smoke a good one, it's an easy go.
And if you're in the trees, you're chipping out anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Just don't snap hook it left, which it's hard. Rory doesn't really snap hook driver left. I guess except 10, 14 years ago. But he nuked a driver on 10. Like, just hit the same driver.
He hit the driver fantastic on Sunday, outside of the 2 he dumped in the bunker, but they carry a yard each, and they were fine.
He hit unbelievable drives on 9 and 10. Both high draw holes. Just hit the same one.
But 85 yards, and he could hit it 20 yards left of the flagstick onto the green that's going to funnel it down to the flagstick.
That green's the size of a planet. He had 85 yards, and he hit it right
into a 3-yard wide spot.
Like, he had to have missed that by 25 yards, right?
You would think.
What do we think he did? Because it wasn't a hosel.
He said in his. Did you watch his press conference?
I didn't see the presser.
Okay, he said in his press conference he had 82 yards, is what he said in the press conference, and he said that because the ball was above his feet, which I didn't think the ball was really above his feet. I thought it was flat down there. He said that he tends to pull his wedges off those lies, so he aimed right. He's like, I wasn't aiming in the creek, but I was aimed right of where I wanted to hit it. And I was like, when he said that, I was like, I mean, I don't want to second guess Rory McIlroy, but it's like, how could you not? Because why were you? So you were aimed over there, and then you just hit it off the toe and blocked it a touch and into the water. Like, that didn't cross your mind. That's the one spot I can't hit it.
Who cares if you pull it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's way better.
The left edge of the green, you'll probably still make par.
I mean, once you lay up in that situation, if you're him, you're playing for 5, right? Like, once you make that decision, like, you're basically saying, I'm going to roll in a 25-footer for 4, right? Like, he had a 3-shot lead. He didn't know it was about to be 2 because Rose stuffed it on 16. But Rose only played the last 3 1 under. Like, it was Rory who gagged. Like, it's not like Rose at the end of the tournament came and got him.
But everyone else who did lay up and hit wedges, they had to land the wedge 15 yards left of the flag anyway to get it to be somewhat close.
Right. You saw the shot that Patrick Reed hit in there.
Yeah, like, you had to be all the way up there anyway.
It went way past the hole and it spun back because it feeds over there. So you didn't there was no reason to ever hit it at that flag. Even if you were trying to make birdie, you still would have hit it left because it was going to feed right.
Right. It made 0 sense.
I mean, that shot is Van de Velde levels bad choking.
Yeah, I would agree. If he didn't win, if he lost on that shot, the putts on 15 and 18, I mean, God forbid Rose makes his putt on 18 and then he misses in the playoff or whatever. I don't know how he ever would have shown his face again.
I mean, my thought when they got to the playoff and Rose was outside him, I was like, if Rose makes this, I don't think Rory makes it. I'm like, but if Rose misses, I'm like, Rory's going to make it. Like, that was the exact thought running through my head.
I had forgotten. I think I texted you guys. You don't ever see a ball where Rose's was in the playoff because they usually never stop there. But I forgot that's where Sergio hit it in the playoff when he beat Rose last time. He made that putt left to right from behind the hole in the playoff to beat Rose. And there was never a doubt in my mind. I thought he was making it. Like, I thought that was the perfect. Rose makes, Rory gags another short one, and off we go.
What was Rory's short one? I mean, how far?
Well, he lined it up outside the hole, for what it's worth.
The playoff?
The playoff. Well, it had to be 3 feet.
3 feet?
Yeah. I'd give it 3 feet.
Let me see if I can find it here.
A mile to Rory McIlroy, I'll tell you that.
Oh, for sure. I'm guessing that he couldn't feel his hands or his arms. The way that he putted the one on 15 and the way that he putted the one on 18, the guy really could have used a beer or two on that back.
The Masters webpage says 4 feet.
Oof. It's generous.
It's generous. The other underrated, while we're on that shot, the other underrated thing for me that I don't think is being talked about enough in Rory's second shot in that playoff is that they didn't know where Rose's ball would have come to rest because they would have been blocked out just from the uphill shot. And Rose's shot on the shot tracker, shot tracer,
all over it. And you would assume that it comes back down. So you had to think that Rory was stepping up thinking that Rose was in tight. And he had to step up and hit one tight, which I think makes that shot even better. He had to be surprised to see that he was significantly inside the Justin.
And he essentially had the same exact shot he had in regulation, right? It was within a yard or two. He did.
I think he was up 10, 15 yards, actually.
No, they said identical number.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
It was it was almost the same number.
T-balls
just a little to the right.
I mean, he hit 2 incredibly awesome tee shots, but the wedge shot in regulation was also just fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
It looked like, when he lined up for that wedge shot the first time on 18, it did look like he was aimed at the bunker. So I don't know if he was just had his alignment was poor, but
playing to pull another
way, horrendous shot for sure. What's that?
He was playing to pull another wedge.
Maybe true.
Well, I thought, given Ludwig's shot from that bunker, I thought Rory was dead. So I don't know what Ludwig's lie looked like or what he did from that bunker when he finally got up there and skanked one across the green. But Rory hit it in there, and I was like, this thing's over. He's got no shot to get this thing close. And apparently Ludwig just didn't know what he was doing.
He was lighting money on fire is what he was doing.
Yes, he was.
Let's pull this up while we're talking about him right here. That doesn't.
He was tied for the lead.
Yeah, when he was on 17.
Yes,
he went for it, and then I think, but you could relate to the thought, or you've seen it a lot before with golfers, when they're that close to winning, and then all of a sudden, they realize they're on the last hole and they haven't won. It's you see guys blow up all the time on the last hole in that situation.
Is that lip that high, or did he hit a bad shot? I mean, it's hard to tell on, I guess, on TV.
Those lips are definitely those
that was not just
way deep.
Bladed the shit out of that.
No, I think it's really deep, and he was like, I got to get one up past the pin because this thing's gonna rip like a motherfucker, and
he needed birdie.
Mm-hmm.
Birdie, he makes birdie and Rose doesn't make birdie. He's back to 10.
So third place, solo third place, Patrick Reed. By the way, Patrick Reed just emerging from the wilderness to just come in and solo third it. 1.42 million. Seventh place, where Ludwig fell to, 703,000. So they would have split third and fourth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2.4. Yeah, about $500,000 he decided to just fucking light on fire on that last hole.
Good thing he
That's
won
a
at
lot of
Torrey a
money.
couple
He
weeks
lit
ago.
600 on fire for me too. So motherfucker.
How about Justin Rose has been in 2 playoffs at Augusta and lost both of them? 2 times he's played 72 holes at Augusta. Nobody's beat him, and the dude walks out with 0 green jackets.
How about the fact that he's done that, and he's also like Rory McIlroy has now won a Masters, and plenty of other guys have won Masters that you still kind of like. They wouldn't be your first pick as far as clutch play, but Justin Rose is incredibly clutch. He always has been, and yet he's the guy who's lost in 2 playoffs.
The 2 guys who typically gag.
All right, two of the biggest chokers in the history of the game beat him in playoffs. When that guy never chokes. He never chokes. He
certainly doesn't when he has the royal blue and gold on.
Right.
I did text you guys that if this was a putt in September, there would be 0 fucking chance that would miss. He'd be fist pumping and doing that dumbass little teeth grit and waving to the
He would have
fans.
made his in September too, and then they would have gone to 10, and they both would have birdied 10, and then they go to 18 again, and it would.
We're gonna hate him in September. We're gonna hate them all in September.
We'll get there. I got that going for us.
He does handle it incredibly well, though. Like Justin Rose, when he loses those, like he's very well spoken, and like afterwards, he doesn't go run and hide. Like he handles
They
it
say
well.
he's one of the most well-liked people on tour.
He's now finished second in 2 straight majors, for what it's worth.
Playing great golf. Did you guys see the video of his, like, he's like turned an RV into like a recovery RV, he calls it, I think?
Insane.
Did you see that, Bucky?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got an RV. It's got cold plunge, sauna, warm plunge, like UV light,
Red light.
red light,
infrared,
like a spin bike with like an oxygen tank that fills up to like help him like replenish oxygen in his body. Like the dude must have spent $1 million on that RV, like buying it and converting it and everything. He's like dedicated to like still just trying to find one more major win out there.
Longevity. Look at how he looks and how he's playing at age 44.
It's incredible.
Those things
It's a
like
good
one bike
investment.
with like an IV bag.
It's probably in there too.
Yeah.
What do we think of Big Boy Bryson Sunday? It didn't seem like Big Boy had his best stuff this week. Had the left to left iron miss going on. I mean, what do we take of this going forward? I've never really thought Augusta has been like his cup of tea, but he's kind of played well here. What he played decent last year, didn't he?
I don't think he ever finished in the top 20 before.
That's a
That
look.
doesn't mean he didn't play well.
I don't know that I think too much of it. I mean, he made it kind of clear he didn't really know where his ball was going. Then what he hit 397 balls on the range the one day. I think the guy was struggling with his swing a little bit.
Yeah, he was looking for something. It feels like T6 last year, actually.
Oh, okay.
So
My
he seemed
takeaway is that he's getting a gigantic break with not a lot of people talking about the fact that he is really the one who gagged this thing away and then went away. Like, he had all the momentum coming into Sunday. He comes out and just ho-hum up and down for par on 1 and is suddenly tied for the lead, takes the lead after 2 straight birdies and just falls off the face of the earth. And now his putting and his chipping had saved him for 4 days. He was pretty adamant about sharing that with people, and we all watched it. Every big shot he hit went about 40 yards right to left. But I mean, Rory choked it away, but not to the guy who we thought he was going to choke it away to.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between what Bryson did because his ball striking clearly wasn't there. And like, how many times on Saturday did he get up and down from nowhere or make a putt from nowhere? Like, he got a lot out of that round Saturday. He scored a lot better than he played. And I think you often see when a golfer like scores a lot better than they play, eventually that comes back around because you can only live that way for so long where you're making putts from nowhere and getting up and down from being dead. Like, it just doesn't happen that way.
I think it was a testament to him that he was in it for as long as he was with the way he was hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Like, I know the dude hits a lot of range balls every week, no matter what, but like, it was excessive this week. And they caught him at one point saying to his caddy, he's like, see, that's what was happening on that range. And it was right after he like hit one, like Jeff said, 30 yards, went right to left, just slinging a hook. So like, homeboy was dealing with something with his 3D printed irons over there.
Yeah, he said something. He kind of cold one.
He had 5 bags of balls on the range Saturday
He
night.
had 393 balls on Tuesday.
What do we think his final tally for range balls it was the week?
They put on Friday, they put like 93 plus. So must be somebody stopped counting when the season. But you figure like he was over, he probably was close to 1,000.
No doubt.
I mean, it's got to be at least 1,000. He hit 400 in one day.
Right. I don't know that he exceeded 200 another day, but I don't know that he didn't either. So,
I mean, at least 50 to warm up each day, you would think.
that's, yeah.
And then probably 100 after every round by the sounds of it.
More, I think, yeah, over 100. So,
Slano hasn't hit that many in the last 5 years.
I mean,
Nope.
Go hit 1,000 balls this week. Just 1,000 balls on the range. Let me know how you feel.
I hit 100 yesterday, and I'm feeling it.
And half of them were probably wedges.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, his range sessions are also a little different because he is just ripping driver for like half of it, it seems like.
Did you see the posts where like Saturday night he found somebody with a putting green in their backyard and was like,
The lights were on.
lunatic.
Yeah, because he just went wandering around the neighborhood because he couldn't sleep. So he was like, oh, there's lights on. I'm going to go see what these guys are up to.
Yep.
What a fucking guy Bryson is. It's really a shame that Bryson isn't in our life more often. But maybe, as I say that, maybe the 4 times a year is perfect.
Well, you can see him on Instagram or YouTube anytime you want.
That is true.
Can we stay on Bryson for just 1 second, if I can interrupt you? My father texted me yesterday morning and asked if Bryson has always been this likable. And if he hasn't been, how did this come about? And I found that to be kind of fascinating that my dad at his age and his lack of golf knowledge and whatnot would pick up on something like that, because he's the only guy who it feels like has gone to live and has actually capitalized on what they claim you can do on live, right? Like, he's the YouTube personality, the build your brand, the shots over the house thing that went viral. He seems to have a new joy for like people who come to the tournaments and high-fiving them and high-stepping them, going from green to tee box and green to tee box. And he's done an unbelievable repair of his image while so many of these other live guys are just getting yelled. I mean, I played golf with 2 75, 80-year-old guys yesterday. They could not stand. I hope every live guy finishes in last in every single tournament they play. Like, but Bryson was like, yeah, he's okay.
Well, we talked about Justin Rose and the investment that he made for his longevity. Bryson seems to have completely shifted the narrative on what the fans think of him, but I have no idea, but did he hire like a different manager or something and like that person helped him change his image through social media and this different stuff? It's worth considering because he's definitely made a huge shift personality-wise.
I don't want to call it fake because I'm not so sure it's fake. Like, I'm not trying to say he's like putting on an act or anything, but like he's made a conscious effort, it seems.
Yes.
To like kind of go out of his way to be like, I'm going to embrace like this. Like, I'm going to kind of embrace being a little bit of a weirdo, like the scientist, golfer, big boy, like, and good for him. Like, come with what you know. Someone once told me. But like, it does. It seems like he's been like, hey, look, I'm gonna like turn into like this kind of like image of me and just kind of roll with it. Whereas it felt like before he might have been like trying to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
Just my two thoughts.
And you can't fake what he's kind of doing. Like if he, like you can't, it would take too much of your energy to do what he's doing and it not be genuine to an extent right now to be
It's
able
got-
to. still
Yeah,
play.
there's got to be like some genuineness like to it. You know who it reminds me of like Phil. Like there's a lot of like Phil's shtick that like is a shtick, and like I'm sure like I get the same feeling from Bryson. Like there's a lot of this that feels shticky, but like I think deep down it's kind of more in line with like him really versus like him trying to be something else, which like it kind of felt like before when the Hogan hat and all that kind of weird shit. Like that felt like more off to me for him. Who knows? You'll never know unless you get inside the dude's mind, which I don't know if you want to be there.
No.
John Rahm. What's going on with John Rahm? So we're a year and a half, a little over a year maybe into his live deal. He's been pretty bad, or not bad, but just a large step down from where he was in the majors before he left. And this week, I think he opened with an over par round and was under par the rest of the way, but was just never a factor. What do we make of that guy?
He wants back. What do you think he'd pay to come back? What do you think that dollar figure would look like if they said, all right, John, here's a piece of paper, we're going to have a number on it. What do you think that number is that he'd be accept to come back and play on the tour?
Ooh, it does feel that way. Probably not that fucking big.
You don't think so?
I mean, would you want to part with it? He shot 75, 71, 70, 69. So he played fine after Thursday, but
I mean, he's kind of in the same category as Brooks Koepka, probably there. But one thing that I think about is his life has changed in other ways too. He's got like 2 kids under 3 or something, right? So like he's been popping out babies, and that's changing his life too. I mean, you see a lot of players when they win a major or two, some say it's harder to stay there than it is to get there. So he got there, he went to live, which is a huge change, and then he's got having kids, and like I don't know, maybe he's got 2 kids, right? So
yeah, 2 kids born in 21 and 22, so like 3 and 4.
There's a couple things. I mean, Spieth, you'd say the same thing. He's got a bunch of half a basketball team of kids, and he hasn't really played the same. But so is it that it's harder to stay there once you get there, or is it the life changes that they've gone through too that have made them take a little bit of a step back? Because they've got all the money, so like, what's their incentive at this point?
As someone who used John Rahm this week in fantasy, I think he's going to be just fine. I know that it's really hard to quantify what these live results mean. Wins on live, top 5s on live, top 10s on live. You're only playing 50-something guys or whatever it is. He has never finished outside the top 10 in a tournament on live. And regardless of whether the tournaments are easy to win, hard to win, that still matters. And I quick pulled up because I honestly didn't know what his major results had looked like since he left. He was T45 at the Masters last year. He missed the cut at the PGA. His last 2, T7 at the Open, T14 at the Masters this week when he was one of the favorites. I think it probably takes guys like him a little bit of time to figure out what major prep looks like when your entire schedule has changed. Obviously voluntarily. He did it to himself. But I think
why didn't he play the U.S. Open last year?
I was just thinking of that myself.
Is he hurt? He had to be hurt.
He had to be hurt. He's exempt, obviously, as a champ.
Foot injury. I forgot that.
He's got a club foot.
I think
no, that was he had lesions. He had lesions on his foot. Because I remember the joke was his live team is named Legion 13 or something like that, and so people were calling it Legions 13.
Yeah, I think if his next three results are T57 cut T45, I think we have a maybe different conversation. But
I will say though, T14 at the Masters, if you're like a dude like John Rahm, a little different than like a T14 at like the British or the US Open. Like
for sure.
It's a little bit different field. I mean, you had Zach Johnson flashing his way up to what he finished T8 after shooting 66 on Saturday.
He would have taken it before the week started.
Who else do I want to mention here real quick? Bernard Longer is an absolute baller. I know we were exchanging texts in the group, but Bucky, when you sent the thing that he never got a ball over 248 yards on the range on Thursday?
238 was his max carry. And he missed the cut by one shot. And he, by a putt that rolled over the edge, or he plays the weekend.
Player.
Freddie almost made the cut, too.
It is hard to appreciate how good that actually is, but my God, that's probably the most incredible thing of the whole weekend, really.
Yeah. I mean, Freddie still bangs it out there. I saw a couple of them. He got some drives out to like 295, like 300. But fucking Longer. The dude is just an animal. How old is he?
I want to say he's like 67.
Thank God for those Tour Edge hybrids.
Yeah, I did see he's still rocking those with the gray around the back of it. Yep, 67 years old. The dude was born in 1957.
Yeah, it's unfathomable, really, for guys sitting here in their mid-30s, but I feel like I can still try to appreciate it.
He played his first major in 1976. Unbelievable. Yeah. I did want to circle back around to Rory, because I'm very interested on what you guys think this round does for him moving forward. Obviously, it's the big monkey off his back, winning the Masters, career Grand Slam, wins a major for the first time in 11 years. But the way he did it wasn't pretty. There were a lot of question marks. Sorry, excuse me. A lot of question marks, a lot of scar tissue, if you will, kind of left over from this. Do we think that just getting it done is what matters and that unburdens him and kind of just lets him loose? Or does the way in which it went down still kind of eat at you a little bit? Wiater, you've been a little quiet lately. We're gonna give you the lead on this one.
I think it still eats at him because he just seems to do it in these events. Like, I can see the next major he's gonna be in contention. Isn't the U.S. Open somewhere he likes to, or he's won or something?
Quail Hollow's next, and he loves that.
Yeah, one. PGA's at Quail Hollow
or PGA. So I think that we could see this flip right back again, where he's got a lead going into Sunday, and someone like Bryson doesn't do what they did, and they stay neck and neck with him, and we could be having the same narrative right back to Rory again. Then they're going to be calling this one luck, and oh man, Rory's going to be losing his shit. Because did you see his presser? The first thing he did was, "What are you guys going to talk about next year?" So he just wanted to go right at those guys and tell them to shut up.
I'm going to let Bucky go.
Golf's such a unique sport, isn't it? I mean, if you win the Super Bowl or you win the World Series or you win the NBA Finals, nobody cares how you won. They just care that they won. That's it. Because you beat the other team, you beat all the other teams, and you're the best.
Unless you're Skip Bayless talking about the LeBron Bubbles final.
Well, sure. Then you have the conversation about the champions and stuff and who's the best of all time. That's a different conversation. But in golf, it's it's the one game where you can win and not feel good about it. You could also not win and feel really good about it because it's a sport where you play against yourself and you play against the course. And even though he won, what we got from him was not didn't appear to be his top tier performance. And it didn't look like he conquered himself by any means.
Because, I mean, if you look at it, he should have won this thing by what? Like 6 shots, probably?
I mean, he won despite himself because his talent is so good, so high. But going forward, I guess the monkey's off his back, so like he doesn't have anything left to prove. However, if he's got a 3-shot lead with 6 holes to go, nobody's like betting their house on him to win, to bring it home. I don't think. I wouldn't. Certainly not. He's not Tiger Woods, that's for sure.
I'm kind of indifferent on whether this actually does anything for the other 3 majors. I think for the Masters, you're going to see a different Rory. I don't think he wins again next year. I think that has more to do with guys just not really repeating in the Masters anytime soon. I don't know what that reasoning is. I'm sure some has to do with all the other nonsense, and he's going to have a ton of that coming off of he's going to have to answer all the questions of you finally got it done, now what, right? But Rory in majors has been maybe the best. I mean, Scotty's won more than him recently, but has anybody been more consistent the last decade in majors than Rory? I don't really see that changing. I think he has an unbelievable opportunity at Quail Hollow next month. I think he's won there 4 different times. He started this year by winning Pebble, winning Sawgrass, winning Augusta, and now having a chance to go win Quail at the PGA. I don't think he's going to play any better in the majors because he won now, and I don't think he's going to obviously play any worse. I think that the question is how free does he get at Augusta, because I really do think his game is suited to just hit tight draws around that place and hit it a mile for the next decade. And if he has exercised the demons there, I think why is he going to stop at one of these things?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was looking around at some stuff, and I noticed he was 35. And Phil won his first major at 34, peeled off 6 more, won 23 times on the PGA Tour from that Masters win on. So, I mean, if you had, granted, that's a Hall of Fame career from just therein. But, I mean, 6 more majors, like, it's obviously possible. Like, I would say he's got similar to talent to Phil, if not better. Like, it's out there for him to keep going and winning a bunch more. Like,
I think one type of golfer that we have always seen really struggle to win tournaments and especially to win majors is a guy who can't make short putts, because they always show the stat of the guy that's winning, how he's like 50 of 50 inside of 5 feet for the week. And if he's going to have a fatal flaw, I think the short putts, as golfers get older, the guys who can't make short putts, it really starts to wear on them. So I think that's a trend that we might continue to see with him. He still might win despite it, but I don't know how long that will go on for.
He hasn't finished outside the top 10 at the U.S. Open since I became the basketball coach at Fairleigh Dickinson. I have the Wikipedia pulled up where it has like the colors based on the top 10s, and
That is amazing.
They only do by, I guess, 10-year stretches or whatever. So it starts in 2019 and goes to now. It's just T9, T8, T7, T5, 2-2 at the U.S. Open.
It's a ball strikers tournament.
So if he's going to, it's not like he's been bad in these other majors though, while he's been in the pursuit of the Grand Slam. So I don't really see why winning the Grand Slam now is going to be a negative in any facet.
No.
21 top 10s in, I was just counting it up, 21 top 10s in majors since he won that PGA at Valhalla, the last major win before this.
That's why there was so much pressure on him to win, though, because you're there 21 times and you can't get it done once.
Fair point.
Yeah. 3-4 seconds, a third, a couple T4s in there. He was in the hunt. Like, the pressure was building for a reason. Like, there was a reason everybody was saying, like, if this isn't the year, I don't know what is, because, like, he's been playing such good golf, and, like, you only put yourself on the doorstep forever. I mean, if you look at a lot of dudes like major wins, it's wins in bunches. I mean, Spieth, Koepka, go back and look at like Arnold Palmer, like dudes win majors in like 10-year chunks and typically don't win them, after 10, 11 years in between them.
It feels like he's right for Oakmont. I mean, DJ won the last one at Oakmont, right? Feels like they both drive the golf ball incredibly similar. Like, hit it high, hit it far.
Where you got to be able to make 3-foot sliders, though, and that is definitely not his thing. Like, I think Quail Hollow, because that's a ball striker's paradise and those greens don't seem to be too wild, that's partially why he plays so well there. But Oakmont, those greens are as severe as Augusta. And I don't know if he's going to be able to stand up there and hit the 3-foot left to right slider on the 17th green if he's got a one-shot lead.
You wonder. Anything else from the Masters we need to talk about before I have a couple other topics here we have to discuss?
The seven Rory missed the cut at Oakmont last time. So,
what was that, Matt?
The 7-iron or whatever that was.
We didn't even talk about the 7-iron.
That was an incredible golf shot.
One of the best golf shots I've ever seen. Like, pressure, moment, all things considered.
It was, but he didn't make the putt, so like he could have made 4 a lot of different ways. That's kind of my take on it.
There is like a little bit of a thing, though, at the Masters, dudes who hit incredible shots into par 5s and then missed the eagle putt. He did it. Phil did it out of the trees. I think Tiger did it one year on 15. Like, hit one real close and missed the putt and made birdie only and then went on to win.
He left it dead in the gut on 7 after he hoisted it from the middle of the trees into 7 yesterday, too. His putting was not very good at the end, and I know that those greens are slick, but it really did look like he was trying to do everything he could to not give himself 4 feet coming back. He
didn't make a putt from like 4 on.
But he did. I kept using the word with you guys, like definitive. Like, it did not look like he hit any putt definitive on the entire back 9 of that tournament. Yeah. Conviction. I'm sorry. Conviction. That was it. He just didn't. Everything was on 15 was babied. 16 was babied.
I mean, you remember Pinehurst last year at the U.S. Open, right? Like, this wasn't a new development with him.
I remember Pinehurst. I do.
Did you have some cash on the boy that day too?
Potentially.
All right, what else you got?
All right, Jeff. 4-man scramble at Augusta. You say we win going away. Just lay it all out for us. Tell us why. The 4 of us playing from 7,600 yards in tournament conditions win the tournament. You said we break the all-time record. We shoot 21 under.
Yeah, I do.
That's absurd.
We for sure win. At some point in the weekend, I said we break the tournament record when I just saw what some of the guys were doing. Yeah, I mean, I think we've got some people in this chat who just don't have enough self-confidence in their mid-30s. I go and play golf with some of them, and they hit very different shots than the ones that they want to, in this chat, remember in their head. 7,600 is a long golf course. It's not an impossible golf course. I obviously hit the ball a good ways. Buck hits it very straight and a good ways. Both of you two guys have the ability to get it out with Buck. Not as straight as Buck as often as he does, but like, I don't foresee us hitting. We're not hitting at 240 or 250 off the tee. We're playing in a scramble, so we're never going to have a bad lie. And even if we're in the rough at Augusta doesn't mean anything. You just hit it where you're going to hit the next one anyway. We probably don't stop that ball on the green as easily, obviously, but I just refuse to believe that 4 of us, regardless of where we're putting the ball on the green, aren't going to be able to get the ball down in 2 when we're there. And I don't know. You got 4 balls every time. I just you're talking about shooting 3 or 4 under a day, getting 4 balls every single shot the entire round. I just don't. I don't think. I mean, we're not 10 handicaps. Like, I just. Don't,
I mean, we're not fucking far off.
I mean, I play like 10 handicap quite a bit, actually.
Jordan, you and I were both on a trip.
I'm a 4 at fucking my home course.
Yeah, you're a 4 at your home course. You were on a trip where we got bullied into playing the tips of every damn course on the entire trip for 6 days. You didn't shoot 90.
Yeah, because we played everything as a fucking lateral.
I don't remember doing that personally in my group, but you didn't shoot like it. Okay, who cares that it's 7,600 yards? Like, when every ball we play is going to be 285 to 325 off the tee, who gives a shit how far it is? Like, we're going to get a perfectly positioned ball in the fairway or just barely off of it 14 times into these greens. Who cares if we have 175 yards? Like,
you think we're going to have a perfectly positioned ball on every hole?
I think one of us is going to put the ball in the fairway or just off the fairway on every hole. Obviously, if I think we're going to shoot 3, 4, 5 under, I think we're going to drive it fine.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like,
you might not, but I'm not going to sit here and say that us in a scramble are going to shoot like 75.
I don't think we're going to shoot 75. I just don't think we're going to string together 4 rounds of 68.
I like your optimism, Jeff. I don't necessarily agree with your take, but I do appreciate your optimism. That's where I'm at.
I'd be glad to have you lead the squad, but I just temper expectations a little bit.
What annoys me is I would love to try, like, we could obviously try this thing at a not Augusta, really hard track from the tips. I just wouldn't want to waste a round at one of those places doing a scramble for the sake of Ole Walls' house. But like we could do, like, Augusta's really, really hard, but there's plenty of courses that in the middle of the summer from 7,700 yards, we could try it, and it wouldn't necessarily be the same, but I think we'd shoot a really good number in a scramble on most of those. Like, I mean, you're talking about perfect greens. They're going to roll pure. They're going to be fat. Like, we're going to make a couple birdies every day for sure. Like 100%.
I agree with that. We should birdie most of the par 5s, a couple others maybe here or there. We'll make some birds. We might make like a big number somewhere though.
I mean, that's the thing. Do the 4 of us shove it into one of those chutes and just all of us have to reload?
That's a serious possibility. There are a couple shoots out there.
That would be my concern. If we don't do that,
I don't think the up and downs are very easy around there, and I don't think, for the most part, we have like the short game skill to get up and down. But to Jeff's point, we have 4 shots, so like,
should we be getting up and down a ton in a scramble?
From 7,600 yards, I think we're gonna have to get it up and down a few times, bud. We're gonna be playing from deep.
Times.
It'd be fun to try.
It's the approach shots that worry me. That, like, even, like, just say, Jeff, you decide to blow it off the planet, because you're going to do that about 5 times.
Sure, yeah, of course.
So now we're playing
who doesn't ever seem to blow it off the planet when I'm playing him and there's money on the match? Eric. Never seen, like, so one of us is going to hit the ball in play.
Okay, so one of us so you hit it off the planet. One of us hits it in play, probably Bucky.
Okay.
As far as tour standards go, Bucky is one of the shortest hitters on tour. So we're playing in from 2 bills.
Maybe. We'll see. We don't ever get to play courses where the ball rolls in the fairway the way those guys do. But
they cut the fairways. They cut
My
the fairways
course-
backwards there.
Ball speed is like similar to Zach Johnson. He was like notably short. So I'd be, as far as Zach Johnson, just not nearly as straight.
Let's see what Zach Johnson had into 11.
Or 5.
Zach Johnson had 222 into 11
Right?
600.
with water left. Right as fucked.
That's my point. That's what I've been saying, Wally. Is like we're gonna be playing from a mile away. A lot of holes unless Slano like has a career driving day.
I just want the listeners of Ole Walls House to know that this chat has become incredibly softer than when Ole Walls House first
Being
debuted.
realistic, my ball speed is the same as Zach Johnson. He had 222 into that hole. Like, what do you want? What do you want?
I want the confidence that you had talking about your drives when we were on the simulator about 7 or 8 weeks ago, and you were talking a bunch of shit. That's confidence I want.
That's a different
While
moment.
we were playing the Riviera of Asia.
It won't tell me how much he had into 5. But 4 also plays 240 too. That one of us has to hit that in the right spot. You also have to hit it in the right spot from 200 yards.
Sure, yeah, you do. It's golf.
You're fucking incredible. You're the man.
I love it.
Here's my last thought. Jeff, you kind of stoked something in me. Our Ryder Cup team does not look good right now. Like real bad.
Not. It looks.
You can show that.
It's
Jordan?
very, very, very. There are some names on there that.
Let me put it on the screen there. So Scotty Scheffler, Xander, and Colin Morikawa and Bryson. 4 solid names. It gets really bleak really quick.
And also, Brian Harmon and JJ Spawn would be 2 terrible players at Bethpage.
Awful. And Russell Henley's not a whole lot better of a course fit for Bethpage. I don't really think does Mav McNeely bomb it?
It's
longer than
straight
the other guys
stretch.
talked about.
Do we want Mav McNeely versus Ludwig Oberg?
I'll be honest, scrolling down doesn't really get you a ton of names where you're like, oh, if they just start playing well, we want those guys.
Right? Like, I mean, Harris English and Tom Hoagie kind of poke it, but it's like, those are the guys we want to roll out there? Like Michael Kim? Wyndham Clark stinks.
I'd take Akshay.
I think Akshay's going to be there.
Yeah, I would take Akshay.
I'd take Patrick Reed, honestly, just because he's
Yep.
A fucking nutcase, right?
Yeah.
Max Homa played well one time in the last 14 months, and he's 23rd.
I think he played all right in the majors last year, didn't he?
He must have.
He's got last top 10, but it's based on 2 years, and he had a pretty good run up to that. So this will get worse for him, unless he plays really well.
I mean, shit. Looking at the list, I'd rather let Keegan play too.
Yeah, at Bethpage, yeah.
He's got a T3 in the Masters last year that's really affecting that.
Keegan's not going to play.
No, we're just talking about like, looking at the list of guys.
Look at the players available.
Like, who the fuck is Jacob Bridgman?
I don't know.
He said he's not picking himself, so he's not playing.
Well, he might want to reconsider that as he decides between JJ Spawn and Brian Harmon. He might pick himself.
Tell you what squad looks good is this one right here.
I was going to say, we flip over to this one. Rory, Hatton, Rasmus Højgaard, who seems to have a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Rose, Lowry, Ludwig, Fleetwood. Dietrich played like shit this week, but has actually been playing pretty good this year. Their very back end looks a little weird, but Rahm's not up there, and he's going to be on the team. And Holland's going to come flying up there.
Yeah, we're going to get boat raced. That's
going
to be ugly.
Like, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be in the worst possible setting for us to compete like that.
Yeah. Could be rough. It could be rough. Anything else, gentlemen? I think we've covered a nice wide range of discussion points here tonight.
All good.
Well, I got nothing else. This was enjoyable.
Well, boys, I appreciate you taking some time to hop on with us. Jeff, you didn't want to let Tucker on?
Tucker tried to sneak on here real quick, but I think it's time for Tucker to go out.
Well, boys, thank you very much. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. Maybe we should make this a majors thing. We do this after the majors.
I like
I
it.
agree.
We might have to just pencil that in for after the PGA.
All right.
All right, boys. Good seeing you. Time for some passing thoughts. I'll keep this pretty quick. Let's just talk little Cleveland Guardians here real quick. Not a bad week. 5-1, I believe. Pulling it up now. Sorry, I forgot to pull it up before. Let's see here. 5-1. Swept the White Sox. Interesting fashion and how that was. Then took the first two from the Royals and gave up the game Sunday. Upcoming this week, go to the Orioles and the Pirates. So out on the road before coming back next week to host the Yankees and Red Sox. So feels like you got to get some games this week with the Yankees and Red Sox coming to town. Interesting ends to a couple of those White Sox games. The first game, Tuesday night, and I'm now blacked out completely from watching when they play the White Sox because the White Sox changed channels and it's no longer on YouTube TV. So that's awesome. But I happened to be out getting some chicky wings for my birthday, overcame my sickness finally, and was out getting some chicky wings at my favorite establishment for those, Draft House. And they had the game on. Luckily, they get it up there. Mike Clevenger, former Guardians pitcher, or Indians back at the time, comes in, and apparently he sucks now. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Comes in and walks the winning run in. Walked the last two runs, last two batters to push the winning run across. So snuck one out there. And then Wednesday night, I didn't see this. I just saw the highlights of it. Actually, I think I got a text from my dad. He's like, "Hey, anyway, any wins are good wins." And White Sox were going to tie the game. They had a runner coming from second, round and third, pulled a hammy, it looked like. I didn't look into it, but he ends up getting out, and that's the way they win. The tying run's going to cross the plate and gets tagged out. So, ouchies. That stinks. Put it to him on Thursday, which was nice. I mean, they allowed very few runs, 3 runs across the whole series. So that's good. Like I said, take 2 from the Royals. But I think it was Saturday night I was watching the game against the Royals. Watched portions of Friday too. But Saturday night, I mean, Clase, I'm starting to worry. He was getting kind of beat around that game. I think he came in and it was 6-2 in the 9th. It was 6-1. 6-1, and they brought him in to give him some work. Gave up 2 earned runs. And it's just like 4 hits. Ouchies. Just like ouchies. Like, that's not what we're looking for. I'm a little worried about Clase. Just a little worried. So it's worrisome. It's worrisome is what it is. That's exactly what it is. Anyone see Sidney Crosby at Pat McAfee's big night out just absolutely throw a dime with a football? Like, why is a hockey player look that good throwing a football? It hurt me. It hurt me deep inside to see that. Just absolutely pain. Pain! Just absolute pain. I'm just scrolling through my photos, make sure I didn't miss anything. Most of my stuff was Masters week this week, so not a ton here. Did mow my yard today. That was fun. Getting back out there in the weather. I like my yard, big fan of my yard, so enjoy doing it. I'm just trying to just think if there's anything else. I really don't think there's a whole lot else this week. I mean, it was a Masters week. Just absolute, completely locked into that. That's all I got, people. I mean, we gave you a full show with the Masters discussion, so I think I'm pretty good on that. I'll be out on the road some this week, so maybe I'll have some stories coming back, but we'll just go wrap this thing up. That was a good show, so I'm happy with it. Closing time, everybody. Just want to say thank you to everybody who watches and listens. Really appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you to the guys who joined me tonight, Bucky, Slano, and Wiater. Really appreciate those guys coming on. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, as always, producer Kevy, for helping us get this whole video thing started. Don't forget to check out the Full Range Podcast on Spotify and on the Ole Walls House YouTube channel. And don't forget, next week, Thursday, live draft show, going to be live for probably the entire first round. Hoping we got a decent amount of guests popping in and out throughout the night. So a lot of fun stuff. We got Harbor Town this week on the PGA Tour. We got Cleveland Guardians baseball and whatever else we'll come across. So till next week, peace.